Hi, my name is JC Sumner and I am doing my speech over Mahatma Gandhi, and this is my audience. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Not only did Mahatma Gandhi say this, but more importantly, he lived by it. Known for his nonviolent campaigns of civil disobedience, Gandhi became an international symbol of peace and human rights. Throughout this speech, I will talk about Gandhi's early life and how he developed his basis, his protests, and how he became the influential person that he was. On October 2nd, 1869, in Porbandar, India, Mahatma Gandhi was born to his parents. His family was very religious and studied many religions, which helped form his core values that resulted in a very successful, fulfilling life that people will look up to until the end of time. At 13 years old, he was married, and only 3 short years later, they had their first baby, who died only a few days later. They later had 4 more children, all of which were boys. At the age of 18, Gandhi graduated high school and went to London to study law, leaving his wife and family behind, but returned 4 short years later after his mother's death. 2 years after returning to India, he took a job in South Africa and moved there in 1893 at age 23. Shortly after arriving, he was thrown off a train because Indians weren't allowed to ride first class even if they had a ticket. A series of events similar to this led to the turning point of his career, and he then began focusing on civil rights and civil injustice. Gandhi began his protests in South Africa in early 1900s following World War I, which consisted of boycotts, protests, and fasting. He was arrested 6 times throughout his stay in South Africa for his acts against the government. Gandhi questioned the British Empire and where Indians stood. After a prolonged stay in South Africa, he returned home where he was a leading figure when India tried to gain independence from Great Britain. He did this through nonviolent resistance, peaceful protest. One of these protests turned violent and led to Gandhi being imprisoned for conspiracy for 2 years. After getting out of prison in 1930, Gandhi organized a 23-day, 241-mile salt march to the sea, in which, my opinion, is one of the most symbolic acts of his life. This march was a protest against British tax law, which taxed salt that Indians had to buy. Upon arrival at the ocean, the Indians were arrested by the thousands. There were many other protests similar to this that helped make his life so successful. Even when he was punished for these protests, Gandhi continued leading peaceful protests and made sure his followers knew that they would not respond to their attacker with violence. Gandhi's push for Indian independence helped them to break away from Great Britain and become their own on August 15, 1947. His acts for the Indians made him the influential leader that he is today. 6 months after India gained their independence, Gandhi was assassinated. On January 30, 1948, he was shot 3 times at point-blank range by Gandhi on his way to a prayer meeting. Gandhi was known for his ascetic lifestyle, but more importantly, he was the first civil rights and social justice leader. Gandhi inspired people like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and Albert Einstein to be memorable people that they were. Mahatma Gandhi made an impact on society because he took a stand and didn't give up on what he believed in. He led by his actions and gave Indians hope for their people, just as Martin Luther King did for his. Gandhi was a great leader, and his actions will continue to influence and teach until the end of time. While growing up, he never believed he would have the impact that he did, but as he did the things he felt called to do, he knew that he was the person that was meant to make this change and lead others to do the same. I'll leave you with his famous quote from Gandhi himself: "The future depends on what we do in the present."